Hey guys, today we're going to look at the midpoint and distance formulas, and I've highlighted some definitions for you here at the top of your screen. The midpoint of a segment divides the segment into two congruent parts. So as you look at this first diagram, that means that AM and MB have the same measure. So if AM is equal to 5, then MB is equal to 5. So the whole segment AB would be equal to 10. A segment bisector is a point, ray, line, or line segment that intersects the segment at its midpoint. So a segment bisector bisects or cuts in half a segment. In this case, line CD would be a segment bisector for AB. Point M, looking at the example, point M is the midpoint of VW. Find the length of VW. So as you see, VW is here. I think the end, that should be a W cut off for you there. So what do we know about VM and MW? They have the same measure. So 4x minus 1 is equal to 3x plus 3. Subtract 3x and add 1, and x is equal to 4. So if x is equal to 4, and you plug x equals 4 into 4x minus 1 and 3x plus 3, remember they're equal. So 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 minus 1 is 15. So each piece is 15. Find the segment bisector of PQ and then find PQ. So we know that PM is equal to 3. So MQ is equal to 3. So PQ is equal to 6. And for the next problem here, you have 5x minus 7 equals 11 plus 2x. So 3x is equal to 18 and x is equal to 6. So if x is equal to 6, 5 times 6 is 30, and 30 minus 7 is 23, and 23. So PQ is 46. The midpoint formula is highlighted for you here. It's add the x's divided by 2, add the y's divided by 2, and your answer is an ordered pair, x, y. So find the midpoints of RS if the coordinates are R, which is 1, negative 3, and S is 4, 2. So we're going to find the midpoint. We're going to add the x's, divide by 2, add the y's, divide by 2. So add the x's, divide by 2, add the y's, divide by 2. And the midpoint is 5 halves, negative 1 half. And the midpoint of JK is 2, 1. The endpoint is 1, 4. Find the coordinates of the other endpoint. So I'm going to show you a quick way to do that. Your first endpoint is 1, 4. Your midpoint is 2, 1. And you're looking for the other endpoint. So to get from 1 to 2, you add 1. So to get from 2 to the next one, you would also add 1 to get 3. To go from 4 to 1, you subtract 3. And 1 minus 3 is negative 2. So 3, negative 2 is your other endpoint. Down here at the bottom, you try, find AM, given M bisects AC. So x plus 5 is equal to 2x. So x is equal to 5. And 5 plus 5 is 10. Find the midpoint given the coordinates of the endpoints. So add the x's, divide by 2, add the y's, divide by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So 5, 5 would be your midpoint there. Add the x's, divide by 2, add the y's, divide by 2, and you get negative 5, 1. Find the endpoint. All right, this one is just like the JK problem. So the endpoint is R, the midpoint is M. So 5 to 1 is minus 4. So the other endpoint S is 1 minus 4, which is negative 3. And then to get from 1 to 4, you add 3, and 4 plus 3 is 7. now we're going to look at the distance formula. And the distance, it's easy to count if it's a horizontal or vertical, but what if it's a diagonal? So as you can see here, it shows you that you can use the Pythagorean theorem or the distance formula. Well, that will pretty much work most of the time, but you'll find that the distance formula is a lot quicker the more you get used to it. So it is the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, and your answer must be a positive number. So as you look at the example that you see here, x1, y1, we're going to give the coordinates of 4, -1, as you see here on your screen. And then x2, y2 is going to be the coordinates 2, 3. So x2 minus x1, 2 minus 4 is -2. And y2 minus y1 is 3 minus -1, which is 3 plus 1, which is 4. So when you go to do your square root, you have -2 squared plus 4 squared, which is 4. -2 squared would be 4, and 4 plus 16 would be 20. And the square root of 20, we're going to break that down. It's the square root of 4 times the square root of 5 is 2 square roots of 5. And then down here underneath u try, we're going to do the same thing here. Sorry about that. So square root, we've got 5 minus 1 squared plus 4 minus 2 squared. That's 4 squared, which is 16, plus 2 squared, which is 4. Here's the square root of 20 again. Square root of 20 is 2 square roots of 5. You're going to break down those radicals like we did in chapter 1. And then the same thing here, the square root of 3 minus -1 is 3 plus 1. And then -2 minus 2. Don't forget those squares. Is the square root of 4 squared and 4 squared. So the distance is the square root of 32. That's the square root of 16 and the square root of 2. So your distance is 4 square roots of 2. Don't forget your questions box. Make sure your notes are complete for your video. I hope you guys have a great afternoon.